One, there are reasons for and reasons against. Why do it? Yes, we might be able to lower carbon emissions because we discourage behavior like using gasoline. Quiet, girls. What else might we get out of this? What's that? Yeah, money to cover the cost of gasoline. You know, like the social costs, like the air pollution, the health insurance required for people who get in accidents without health insurance. You know, lower the tax burden of people who are sick or who are missing time off work. Lower the tax burden of the California Highway Patrol or of the people who clean up the accident afterward or the Caltrans people. You know, you discourage the behavior you don't want, which presumably is the use of gasoline in this case, and you cover the costs of the other parts not captured in the purchase of gasoline, like the maintenance of highways and whatnot. But why would we perhaps not want to tax gasoline?
Money out of our pockets.
Yeah, this is another tax, more money out of our pockets. And let me remind you that some of us have a lot of money in our pockets to share. But the people who pay the most percentage of their income for transportation fuels are the poorest people in America. As a percentage of income, the poor pay the highest percentage of their income to gasoline. And so this tax is very, what's the word? Regressive. It especially penalizes the poor. And they're the people who are least in a position to choose a new vehicle. So while you want to discourage wasteful driving habits and wasteful car ownership, the wealthy, frankly, can still afford it. And the poor, frankly, can't afford to do that behavior you wanted them to make by choosing a different car. Because they're the least likely to buy a new, high-tech, cutting-edge car. It's not like you raise the gas tax and all the poor people go, ooh, Prius. Now it makes sense. Is there any other reason not to have a gas tax? I mean, what happens when you discourage the purchase of gasoline? I mean, I don't know if you guys realize this, but that's a big part of our American economy. You discourage a very profitable industry. And whether you like gasoline or not, it is a big part of our economy, and there's some person who makes a living selling gasoline. And you're like, discourage that guy's business, and that guy's like, why are you picking on me? You know, gasoline industry people are probably really hardworking, honest folks, just like anybody else. And so there is an impact on economy and industry, and a very disproportionate impact on the poor.
Wouldn't that economic impact you made up elsewhere through training and whatnot?
Maybe. But you know, those sorts of economic jugglings of activity are always very difficult to measure. And your assumption would be that by creating a gas tax, people will buy like natural gas cars, but you know, it's also possible that by creating a gas tax, the Reale family can't afford to go on their summer road trip. Or the Miller family has to carpool and they got to wake up earlier and that's it. So you might get these unintended economic consequences that are not offset by an economic gain elsewhere. It is sort of a zero-sum game, but not necessarily, and the devil's in the details. And tax policy is a big deal. I don't mean to... These are not the areas of my expertise. But that conversation about the gas tax, that was number 28, and we just finished 7.3. I don't know how excited you are, but it's been a painful week of lecturing for me. That's a lot of notes for one assignment. And BT Dubs, we're going to do the same thing for 7.4, but at least it's like wind turbines and solar panels, and everybody likes those. Yeah,
Our task is next Friday, right?
I believe so. That is my hope.
It is next Friday.
It's also my hope that I'm going to go hang out at Kyle Skinner's ranch next Friday. We'll see about that. Okay, so now, before we start 7.4, I got to tell you a story because you all missed the party. Every January 29, Santa Barbara has a giant party. We celebrate a very, very famous anniversary. And you've all been invited, but you probably didn't know it. Anybody know what giant anniversary we celebrated yesterday? Yes. It's not the kind of party where we throw confetti and high five each other. Hey, how about you guys stop talking and they may be able to hear it? It is a party where we all get together and we cry and we cry and we cry. Because on January 29 of 1969, your hometown was the site of America's largest petroleum accident until the next one that was bigger. At the time, this was the biggest oil spill. Platform A, you guys know that if you're in Carpinteria, you see 3 rigs, and if you're in Summerlin, you see 4 rigs. You know what I'm talking about? The 3 and the 4? Platform A is number 5 of those 7, or the second on the left of the 4. And if all this is confusing you, look. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one! Because it was a natural gas rupture that broke the crust. Remember I told you about this, that there are a mix of gases and liquids, and the whole point of the extraction is to change the pressures down below, and you use drill bits, and you use pressurization, and sometimes, you know, we know a lot, but not everything. Sometimes the crust goes pop, and sometimes stuff goes bang. You can see in this photograph that natural gas bubbled out of a spot separate from the hole underneath the rig. See how there's all these bubbles over here, and then some more by the drill hole. So these guys were doing some stuff underneath. I don't know if they were drilling or pressurizing, or I don't know what the activity at the well was. But whatever they were doing, it made it go bang, and a hole opened up a little bit further from the well, and also at the base of the well. And it took a while to cap it off. And in the meantime, has my computer taken it down? Nope. In the meantime, a lot of petroleum came out. It covered a couple of 800 square miles, which is, you know, not as big as Santa Barbara County, but it's a big spill. You can see it from very far away. The best estimates are about 3 million gallons. I think that that number is disputed by the... So I'm pretty sure that the whiny environmentalists like me said it was more, and that the well operator said it was less, because you can imagine how this would be a politicized number. But it was probably in the ballpark of 3 million. Now, 3 million gallons sounds like a whole lot, but let me remind you that this was the biggest accident of the past until this point. But we've gone way past that limit now. The Deepwater Horizon, the BP oil spill off Louisiana a couple summers ago, 210 million gallons. So it was like 70 of these. Yeah.
What company was in charge of that rig?
That's a damn fine question. I don't know. So a lot of the Santa Barbara coastline got covered up in oil. You can see in this map, technically the actual rupture was probably on the 28th sometime. But it was only noticed when people woke up on the 29th. By the 1st of February, the approximate limit was pushing 100 square miles. And then by the 5th of February, 1 week after the accident, the spill had gotten around the backside of Santa Cruz and all the way down to Ventura. And this was a great learning opportunity for us. We perfected methods the hard way by just trying new stuff. Unfortunately, people weren't really ready to do it. Like, unfortunately, people weren't really ready for this. Like, we didn't quite know what to do in case of an accident this size, because we'd never had an accident this size. And we hadn't really had very many big accidents at all, frankly. I mean, drilling in the ocean was relatively new. And so people on the beach were like, I don't know, I'll try this or I'll try that. I'm sure that we knew some things like, the petroleum floats and like, you can mop it up and you can suck it out and you can contain it by putting